Symbolism is great because it's like, take a movie or anything really, and it has one meaning. It has like one life lesson. Or not even the entire movie, just one thing, like one object in the movie. And then it suddenly has two meanings. It can even have 3 or 4, or even 5, or as many as you want. From the apple on the tree in the Garden of Eden represents sin, lust, and Satan, but it's more of the snake's connotation. Probably because it literally is him. But multiple times throughout the Bible, serpents are referenced as if they are conjurers of Satan. Even present day, people are called snakes all the time. And this is why symbolism is so important. So yeah, if you like this, you should subscribe. I don't have that many, and yeah, enjoy the video. Without symbolism and the other stories that are told simultaneously throughout this by using the same thing, it only makes your story surface level. A good example of something at surface level is like a saying or like an ancient Chinese proverb, a quote, because I mean, it doesn't really have that much symbolism unless it's like used like an alligator. You know, I remember I was playing Metal Gear, and Mei Ling, I never forgot this, and she said, "Do not cross the river before you tell the alligator it has bad breath." And I had no idea what that meant at all. That had to be like a mistranslation or something. But then she explained to me that it actually means to analyze the situation before you jump in head first, and that making a decision you didn't think about could leave you in an unlikely predicament, therefore inferring that the crocodile bites down on you. But the point is, this is why it is used in so many things. Macbeth is one of those really old Shakespeare plays. All you need to know about this is that Macbeth is supposed to be, he's like prophesied to be king, and the king is coming over to his house, and his wife is like persuading him into killing the king. And Macbeth is like, "No, I don't want to do it." And then he starts hallucinating and seeing a dagger everywhere he goes, and he hasn't even committed a murder yet. So therefore, the dagger represents his guilt, his conflicting feelings, but it's also there to haunt him in a way, to haunt him of the possibility and the path of blood that he would have to take if he really wanted to become king. Hands down, the 2 series that do symbolism the best, and it's not even close, are Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad. Literally, in the first episode in Better Call Saul, they're talking about doing they're pulling an insurance scam on this old lady, and while Saul, or Jimmy McGill at the time, is explaining this, he goes, "You'll slide over and you'll give her a boom, blue ribbon special." Blue ribbon? Blue ribbon? In Breaking Bad, when a plane crashes over Albuquerque, people start wearing blue ribbons in remembrance of the survivors. Blue ribbon special. There's 2 crashes going on here. And due to this pattern in which both blue ribbons are referenced, worn, or spoken about, what does the blue ribbon even really mean? Well, in real life, a blue ribbon means you're taking a stand against child abuse and encouraging others to do the same. But in Breaking Bad, I'm pretty sure that's not what it meant, which is another thing. In real life, a lot of things represent, like, symbolize different things, and yet in shows, you have to set up this, you can set up like your own whole connotation, your own little code, but I'll get into that later. I think it's pretty obvious that the blue ribbon in Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul means some sort of tragedy and probably involving some crash, but I think I should step away from the whole crash aspect. It's more of just the tragedy of it. But those examples, that was a piece of dialogue, a word or phrase, blue ribbon, and then in Breaking Bad, a blue ribbon was actually shown up and worn. So these are the 2 types of symbolism. You could just mention it, or you could actually wear it, or actually be able to physically hold the thing. You know, much like the apple from before and the crocodile from previously. The crocodile was only in the saying. You didn't actually have a physical crocodile, but there was a physical apple in the Garden of Eden. When it comes to symbolism like this, it's all about cross-referencing. I could either cross-reference it with something from real life, like if someone throws up the peace sign, and then I'm like, "Oh, what does the peace sign mean?" I know what the peace sign means, but just say you Google it, and then you're like, "Oh, this person meant peace," obviously, you know? And then you get to more complex pieces of symbolism, like the Born to Kill hat from Full Metal Jacket, and yet it has the peace sign right next to it. Pretty ironic, right? It's meant to represent the whole moral dilemma that's going on inside of the character Joker, not to be confused with the other Joker, or that one either. How he likes the military and he's deployed in Vietnam, yet he doesn't side with the Vietnam War. He thinks it's stupid, which it was. And the codes are basically like, if someone wears a certain color, it means this. In a certain series, if a certain character wears a certain color certain times, and the same thing happens, or they act the same certain way, saying the word certain a lot, then it must mean something. For example, in Breaking Bad, pink means innocence. Walter wears this after he finds out his cancer has stopped momentarily. It is also the color of a pink teddy bear that used to belong to a little girl. And greatest of all, Jesse's last name is Pinkman, determining that he's the most innocent of the main characters of the show, coloring him as innocent without actually even coloring him. And same thing with Walter White, painting him as a blank slate for the entire series to begin, as well as Skylar White, like this guy, like the blue sky meth that they cook. More really good examples are like in Better Call Saul. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, universes of Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul are linked, by the way. So that's why they're both in the same connotation. They're the same symbolism. It carries over from show to show. In the first episode of Better Call Saul, there's a part where Kim and Jimmy are smoking together. And I'm pretty sure Jimmy says something like, "What are we?" You know, because they're in like some sort of situationship type thing. And they're smoking together. Remember that. Which is ironic because in the last episode of Breaking Bad, I won't spoil anything, but there's a certain guy who basically dug his own grave in a way. And when he's about to die, he holds a finger up telling someone to wait, and then he reaches over and puts a cigarette in his mouth. Now, I'm not going to spoil the end of Better Call Saul here, but I'm just here to say that it doesn't end good for this couple. And then also in Breaking Bad, there's a rice and cigarette that they try to use to poison Tuco, but it never works. And so Kim and Jimmy, they love each other, but they hurt everyone around them. They're poison for each other. That was metaphorical. While the rice and the cigarette, that was literal. And then when Jack put the cigarette in his mouth before he was about to die, that was symbolic and ironic. But my favorite instance of this is when they buy champagne and this whole Jim and Kimmy relationship thing is going on. And she says that they're poison for each other. There's one key line in this one episode where she says that they're poison for each other. And that when they have fun, they make the world worse for other people. They hurt other people. And when they're out one night and they're having the time of their life, they scam someone else and they made him buy was alcohol called Zafiro Añejo. And Saul saves the cap of this as a souvenir. Now in Breaking Bad, this is the same wine, the same alcohol that Gustavo Fring serves to Don Eladio to poison the entire cartel down in Mexico, to take down all the big head honchos. This motif of poison is shown in many ways throughout Breaking Bad. So next time, if you're like rewatching or watching it for the first time and you see someone smoke, just keep that in mind. Now there's this other scene where Jesse is going to get revenge on these two dudes who killed his friend Combo. And ironically enough, he was lighting up before this happened. But then Walter runs over two people, kind of much like what happens in the first episode of Better Call Saul with the old lady, and except what the old lady didn't do was he pulled up and he shot the two. Except exactly this frame right here. Now, if you go to a later season, Jack does this exact same thing, and it's the same type of context. It's revenge. Jack was putting down the rival meth peddler who was stealing their stuff. The exact same body language is exhibited here. So, I can only assume it meant revenge. This exact position, this image, being paralleled twice, it has to mean the same thing. Everything in Breaking Bad is on purpose. And its color code would be, like, if you wear red, then you're either violent or you're oh my gosh, I'm gonna have a stroke. Or maybe it's like a metaphor for like blood, depending on the context of it. In some cases, the red literally represents blood because blood is red and someone's bleeding on screen. But if it's literally blood, then we already know it's blood, so that means the red blood means something else. Or maybe it just means blood. Are you following me? I think I remember what each color even meant. I've already told you pink, how it means innocence. I remember that yellow can mean caution or silliness, like happiness, joy, just all those type of things. But then the color orange, there's orange that sits in between the whole blood and violence symbolism and the joyous but also cautious symbolism. And Hank always wears this color, which is representative of how well he knows and how he's just right in between the cartel's violence, being a DEA agent. But it also means, you know, some of the aspects of yellow, so being the silliness and all that, but also carries the violence of red. Meanwhile, a toned down shade of orange creates brown, in which brown sort of represents earth and strength. Hank has also worn this when he's trying to do something that he doesn't exactly want to do, but it's more like he has to. Ironic because of how much he likes minerals. And it's so subtle that it works so well. It's born from natural things, like the underground meth lab just emits blue light like that. The red floor of it, representative of how it was built upon blood. And you know that if you watch Better Call Saul. Only real ones know that one. Instead of just being some sort of Hertz code, you know, where you look at something and you go, oh, that person's this. In Better Call Saul, it's more like a scale. Better Call Saul is, of course, a lawyer show. The hot colors mean you're a criminal. This is the scale. And the cold colors on the scale mean you're a lawful citizen. But what we do know is that green is right in the center, and it also means that you are trying to pursue money, which gives you this idea that, well, he's trying to pursue money, but which way are they going to go? They go the criminal side or the legal side. The most lawful character in the show, Howard Hamlin, is always wearing blue. I don't think there actually is an episode where he doesn't wear blue. He's got such a work ethic on him. He owns H&M, I almost said H&R Block, whatever, Hamlin something. Yeah. Meanwhile, the character of Jimmy, he's a con man, but he's also a lawyer. He's a criminal lawyer. That's his whole gimmick, right? So he really does just put on whatever color he needs to get the job done. Hence his wardrobe. Incredible. The drip on this man needs to be studied. This alone warrants a whole style or glamour video or whatever you would call it, because this is heat. And I think Peter Gold himself, who was one of the main writers on the show, he said that...
I think I'm the only one who believes this. I believe every man is going to be dressing like this within 10 years.
Well, you're right, because I will be. Fans have been able to pick out and see and realize that the color green does mean... nice rhyming. It does mean that this object will help him in his pursuit of money, or relates to the pursuit of money in most cases, which is what the secondary symbolism is for, which I don't know yet. We don't know yet. Or maybe I don't know. Maybe I should check back on the Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul Reddit. I don't even know. They know everything over there. But for now, that's all I know. But also the dullness or the brightness of the shirt can represent how strongly they feel about it. Near the end of the series, where Saul is working a dead-end job, but everything's in black and white, as, you know, his life sucks, but kind of symbolic of how, as he's like living under a fake alias, how the criminal life and the lawful one seem to blend together as he's working a job that he hates under a false name. And my man is wearing the brightest blue shirt ever. But it's also worth noting that he's actually wearing orange tinted sunglasses. Very close to red. Keep that in mind. Sort of symbolic of how, and he really is always looking around, and it gives more context to the first scene of the entirety of Better Call Saul, where he's wearing these glasses, and a reflection of his crime-doing days, of an ad he used to do, his old Saul Goodman ads. It reflects onto his glasses on the screen, onto his orange glasses. I'm also watching Chinatown right now, featuring forgot the guy's name, the guy from The Shining, and he's a very nosy. I was thinking that he was a very nosy detective in this movie, and he gets nosier and nosier, as detectives in movies usually tend to be. Actually, he's a private investigator, so he is going to be nosy, but he gets his nose sliced a little bit, and then he gets bandages on his nose. And I just thought for a second, I just realized that kind of is symbolism. Like he's nosy, and then he got his nose all messed up. You know, he only breathes through it. I don't know. This is a little thought I had. Literally every little thing that they do has symbolism to it. For example, car seats. Depending on who's in the driver's seat means who's in control of the situation. And we almost never see Jesse in that seat with Walter in the car. It's always Walter who's making Jesse do all these things. As well as that one episode, I forgot what that episode's called, but it's that episode where Mike just brings Jesse on this long trip doing errands with him, and Jesse is never in the driver's seat for this. Mike's the one who brought him over. And this is consistent in the show. Even in that episode where the RV breaks down and Walter's trying to start up the RV, Walter's the one in the driver's seat, not Jesse. And in the Better Call Saul season finale, with that flashback of that one episode in Breaking Bad where they meet Saul for the first time, Walter's in the driver's seat, Saul's in the passenger seat, and then Jesse is just not allowed to sit in any seat. They make him sit in the back. Crazy stuff, man. Incredible. Like, just wow. And then, this is minor spoilers here for Breaking Bad. Not minor. It's El Camino spoilers, but it's like, and then in that final scene of El Camino, where he's driving through Alaska, it's like he's finally in the driver's seat of his life. You know, both these people are gone. Both these people are out of his life, and now it's just like he's free. And I've said this once before, and I'll say it again. This is how actual masterpieces are made. Everything they do is on purpose. The shading, the colors, the symbolism, it's all on purpose. So while I do like things like the boys is not a master. You know, in Better Call Saul, when that guy with the blue shirt or the red shirt, I don't remember. In that one episode, when he gets run over by that car, it was like a metaphor for like, students getting trampled upon by the criminals or something like that. I don't remember exactly what color his shirt was, but yeah. But that's pretty much what they were going for when they focused the camera on that one exact section of the screen.